Hello, my name is Joan, and I'm a 78-year-old retired educator who lives in Ottawa, and I'd like to share my heart story. I have always had two major factors that lead to heart disease: high blood pressure and cholesterol. Stress has always been a big part of my life. I was a single mom raising four children on my own. I was an educator. I took courses to become an administrator, and I opened up a new high school here in Ottawa as my last job before I retired. With cholesterol, I overproduce it, and apparently this is hereditary. My doctor put me on medication to control cholesterol and to control my blood pressure. Family history is about cancer. Both parents died at 65 of cancer, so heart disease was not on my radar. I retired in 2002, and I thought I'm going to take time for a healthy me. I joined a gym. I had a personal trainer. I did 3 classes a week. I went to the gym often on my own, and I ate healthy. And I really emphasized becoming a healthier version of me. My husband and I traveled and enjoyed life. And then in fall of 2017, I was doing the usual classes with peers my own age, and I was struggling and getting out of breath. And I thought, this is strange. It's a change. So I went to my family doctor and I said, what's going on? And he said, Joan, you're 71, you're getting older, and this is what happens. And I said, oh, okay. I know I'm getting older. We got through Christmas, and in January, I went back to a Zumba class. And at that point, I was really struggling breathing. My legs weren't moving fast enough. And I looked around and I saw peers my own age, and they were enjoying it and having fun. And I certainly wasn't having fun. I was not enjoying it. I couldn't even do it because I should exercise. I was just done. And I was planning my escape out of the class and not to raise alarms. And that's all I can concentrate on. I went back to my family doctor and I said, something is wrong. So he arranged for a stress test in January 2018. And I was shocked by this change into the heart area. But he said, we'll start going down the list, and this is where we'll start. It was new territory for me. So I went for the stress test and I failed it. And the cardiologist said I needed a nuclear stress test and not to exercise. I was very nervous and scared because I thought, what is happening to me? This is a whole world that I wasn't comfortable in or had no knowledge of. In March 2018, I had a nuclear stress test, which was more invasive, and that test showed that I had a blockage. I had an angiogram on June the 1st, 2018, at the Ottawa Heart Institute, and I was prepared beforehand by my cardiologist that I probably would have a stent inserted. So I wasn't comfortable with it. I was scared, I was shocked, I was all the feelings that, how is this happening to me? But this is a turning point in my story. I had the angiogram, and after the angiogram, the surgeon that did it took me outside and said to me, I didn't put a stent in, that I have extensive blockages and I need open heart surgery. And I looked at him in disbelief. I almost said, are you sure you're talking to me? It was shock. I was scared. It was out of body experience. I was not prepared for this at all. I did not have a heart attack. the doctor said he's going to admit me to the hospital because if I go home, I will have a heart attack. And he said, I will talk to your family. So he wheeled me out, and my daughter comes running over, Mom, you made it and it's all over. And I thought, oh dear. And I could see their faces as he told them the news. And my husband and my three daughters were standing there. And I'll never forget that look in their faces when they realized that it wasn't over, it was just starting. I was confined to bed until the surgery. And having been so nervous about an angiogram, now I had to prepare myself for open heart surgery. 5 days later, I was wheeled into the new operating rooms at the Heart Institute and had the surgery. The surgeon did 6 bypasses, and he was very pleased with the results. And I recovered well. He came in to see me and he said, it went very well. You're recovering well. And the difficulty I had was thanking him for what he did. How do you thank somebody for saving your life? It was hard. I stayed for 6 more days. And then when I was released and went home, I thought, wow, this is so different being in the hospital. I'd been in for 12 days and then going home on my own, and the safety net of the hospital, the care, the nursing, the doctors, and then being in the back seat of the car, going home to my home where life had to start over again. It was such an emotional transition, physically and emotionally. It was very difficult. I recovered slowly, but I recovered well. I attended rehab and I joined the Women at Heart group, the support group. These two parts were very important in my recovery. The rehab helped build my confidence because I was afraid to even move my chest. I thought it was going to pop open. And they helped me exercise and build up my strength. And they also helped me realize that I had cardiovascular disease for life, that I wasn't fixed and it was going to be over. It was a chronic disease. The women support group was really important because these women had their own stories, all different stories, but each woman understood each other's stories and they had the same feeling. We all had the same feeling no matter what we went through. We all shared the same feelings. A year later, mid-May 2019, my symptoms recur. And where do I go? What do I do? I went to my cardiologist and he thought I was exaggerating. I'm not sure what happened there, but he didn't react. But I was really nervous because my symptoms were escalating. I ended up calling the surgeon that did my bypass the year before and saying, I need help. I don't know where to go. And that surgeon was wonderful. He arranged to have a cardiologist see me the next day. And that cardiologist said to me, you had symptoms, you had open heart surgery, you had symptoms again, and so something's wrong. And I felt such relief that somebody believed me and understood me that something's wrong. He listened. But I was confused because I had had open heart surgery and I'm fixed, right? And a year later, I'm not fixed. And what's going on? And apparently, having a stent a year later is common. And nobody was really surprised that that happened. I was invited back to rehab number 2, and I accepted because I knew how important rehab was. The confidence and the support that I got from there after the stent and after the shock to my body of what's happening to me again was really important, and they certainly succeeded in helping me through that part of my life. A year later, spring 2020, is COVID hit. We had just returned from holidays. And I thought, how am I going to stay healthy during COVID? So I made a commitment to myself of a 30-minute walk a day, weather permitting. And I did that every day that I could. But after a month, I started not being able to go as far as 30 minutes, and it decreased and decreased until I hit a wall and I was hardly able to go out the front door. I could not walk around the block of our own house, and I had really decreased my ability of mobility and my breathing. Where do I go now? How do I get help? So I went to rehab because that was the place that I was confident that they would listen to me and help me. The rehab cardiologist phoned me within a couple of days, and we together had a program, developed a program of walking, and she started me at 3 minutes a day and increased by half a minute every 2 weeks if I was comfortable. She said I had microvascular angina, and that's what was happening right now. So we worked on this program, and it took me 8 months to get to an 8-minute walk. I still could not walk around the block because it was 10 minutes and I just couldn't do that. But it took me 3 years to be able to walk around the block where we live. Rehab has been a very important factor in my life. It was my source of help, my source of support, and other women are really important because they really do understand what you're going through. Today, I can walk around the block. I can walk, but then I have to rest. I can go downstairs and upstairs, and my husband teases me when I come upstairs and says she huffs and she puffs and she blows the house down. But that's what my life is right now. And I know I can come up the stairs and I can rest and then I can do something else, but I have to rest in between. My family is extremely supportive, but peer women that have been through any kind of heart issue are extremely important because they hear you, they understand you. There's an understanding, there's a connection that that takes place. We have a large family, and our home was always the center of celebrations for birthdays and Easter and any celebration, St. Patrick's Day. And today I can't do it. And we go to my daughter's. That was a hard transition for me to do. But you know what? Today I enjoy not having that at our house and going to someone else's house. I have joined women's heart groups. I've participated in heart research for women. I'm always looking for information. My message to you is listen to your body. It's your body. You know your body. You know when something is wrong. And women tend to understate symptoms. Women need to overstate symptoms. You need to make sure that you get your message across and that something is wrong. And I wish you a healthy life ahead. Thank you.